So I decided to do a wheel with my friend of 10 movies and Toy Story 1. So that's what we watched. It wasn't even on my watch later list with all the other Disney and Pixar movies and other companies that I want to rewatch that I enjoyed those movies as a kid. Because Tim Allen plays Buzz Lightyear and he's definitely done some very problematic stuff, to say the least, with the way he treats his daughter and the way he treats people in general. He just doesn't seem like the nicest guy. And it stopped me from watching the Santa Claus movies he did. The third one was always my favorite as a kid, with Martin Short as Jack Frost. I know a lot of people didn't like that one though. But I guess we're here to talk about Toy Story. I think it's different because I don't actually have to see his face. I still have to hear his voice, but yeah. A big criticism of this movie as of late, started happening in the mid 2010s, is that Buzz Lightyear shouldn't, be faking that he's not alive like all the other toys do. That Andy's coming and they all fall to the floor. But in the movie, we only see it happen maybe twice. And, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It is a bit silly, if he thinks he's alive, why would he be playing dead? But, it's not the biggest issue in a kid's movie. So, the plot of this movie is Andy and his mom are moving to a new town for whatever reason, and they're doing it around his birthday. So, they decide to move the birthday party up, and that causes a little panic with the toys. He does the birthday party, he gets a new toy, Buzz Lightyear. He's been wanting it for a while now, and Buzz starts to become his favorite toy. He doesn't play with Woody as much, so that causes jealousy with Woody. And Buzz tries to show off. I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but he does like the whole flying thing. On rewatch, yeah, Woody is definitely right here. He's being a dick, but he's definitely right here. It's definitely falling with style. He was not flying. He does fly near the end of the movie, but not in this scene. So it ends up leading to some arguments here and there. And then Woody gets the idea to knock him behind the shelf. A bit of a dick thing to do, but it's like more of a minor inconvenience because he wants to go with Andy to the pizza place. And his mom had told him that he could only take one toy. But he accidentally knocks Buzz out the window. So now all the toys are accusing him of murder. And then the Etch-a-Sketch, who was Woody's somewhat friend in one scene, sketches a noose. He threatens to hang Woody. There's a lot of adult jokes in this movie, like like there's a scene where Mr. Potato Head calls Slinky a kiss ass by removing his mouth and kissing his own butt. And then there's like this other toy that like says words on its screen that says ha ha ha. I don't really know what that toy is. There's a few toys in this that have a decently big role in this movie, but maybe not too many lines that I don't remember being in the next movie. Like there's a shark here who has one of the funniest lines in the movie, and then there's this like guy in a yellow shirt with a gray helmet, and he spins Woody around and throws him out the van near the end of the movie. But I don't remember him being that big of a character in the later installments. But he's a pretty big part here. So the toys are all pissed at Woody, and he ends up getting thrown out, and he tries to bring Buzz back home, but things go wrong because Sid gets him. A cool thing about Sid, he blows up a soldier in this movie named Combat Carl, which, if you didn't know, a short I used to watch on cable all the time during Halloween season was a short called Toy Story of Terror, where it's about Jessie getting over her fear of claustrophobia and being stuck in small spaces because of her, being stuck in a box for most of her life. And there's a soldier in that short called Combat Carl. I don't know if they just forgot that they had somebody named Combat Carl in this movie. They could have. But if not, that's a pretty cool reference. There is another reference, but this one's to obviously Toy Story 2. This one's obviously intentional, where they show that Buzz Lightyear is in a store called Al's Toy Barn, which is a big plot point of the next movie. So, Buzz and Woody get into a fight. One of my favorite lines in the movie, definitely here, with Buzz telling Woody, revenge is not allowed on my planet, or something along those lines. And Woody's like, oh, that's good then. And he's like, but we're not on my planet, are we? And then he starts fighting Woody. It's a pretty good fight scene, too, for a kid's movie. Kind of funny. And they make a good use of, the toys. That leads them to missing Andy's car when it drives away. So they got to find another way. But Buzz also wants to, go back to space because he thinks he's a space ranger. So he convinces him to get into this car that has like a spaceship on it. And that is what leads them to getting captured by Sid. So then they're at Sid's house. There's a hooker joke with, I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be, where it's, girl legs and a fishing pole put together. And one of the characters even refers to them as legs at one point. Pretty crazy joke in a kid's movie. Buzz tries to escape after finding out that he's a toy. He tries to not believe it at first. He watches it on a television. The only scene where we see Sid's dad, we don't really see him, but he's sleeping on the couch. And he's watching the television and he realizes, oh, Buzz Lightyear is a toy. But at first he doesn't want to believe it and he tries to fly. Doesn't work. And that leads to, a depressed Buzz. And that lasts for a good while. Woody tries to convince them to help him back over. But that doesn't work. In fact, they start to think he's a straight up murderer because he uses one of Buzz's broken arms to try and convince that, Buzz is still alive because Buzz doesn't want to help. And yeah, it's a crazy scene. They end up breaking like their one rule of not showing kids that they're alive because they want to get back at Sid, and they do that, basically traumatizing the poor kid. Like, yeah, he's a bit of a sadistic asshole, but man, I don't think they should have done that. But I do think it's BS with all the people that are just saying that he's just a creative kid. This man was laughing when doing all this terrible shit. He's got like an I Heart Explosives poster. He's a little shithead. Very deranged kid. So, they try and catch up with the moving car because apparently today is the moving day now. So they've been at Sid's a while. So that doesn't work at first because Buzz gets knocked off and Woody's the one that makes it to the car. So they throw him out. But eventually they realize that Buzz is with him. So they try and help him get in. And then the movie ends with, I guess it's Christmas now. I don't know if Andy's birthday is close to Christmas or if it's a big time jump. I don't remember them having like a, 3 months later or something. But, Andy's got 2 new things. He's probably got more than that, but we get told two new things. He's got a Miss Potato Head and a dog. And the dog's in the sequel and third movie. I don't remember the dog's name. Because it's been a while since I've seen Toy Story 2. But the dog's there. And I had remembered, and I guess I falsely remembered, that I thought Miss Potato Head was always in the movies. But no, she's not in this movie. I guess she's introduced in the sequel. And yeah, I guess I'll get to that when I get to it. It's an okay movie. It's better than I remember. There was a lot of stuff that I genuinely thought was funny. Toy Story was never my favorite thing as a kid. I preferred other movies like Monsters Inc. and, other stuff. I can't think of any others off the top of my head. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed this movie. There's one thing I do want to mention, one more thing, and that is Mr. Potato Head, calling someone an uncultured swine has been in my vocabulary for the longest time. I think it's such a good insult. And, I use it as a joke with my friends and stuff all the time. I've been using it for years. And I knew it was from this movie. So, points for that movie.